Okay, so, blue-white enchantments. I always like to prefix videos of established decks like this with, I have no idea if this is the best variation. There's lots of little details you can tweak and tune. We've played this, I think, once in the past. I do not have strong feelings or conclusions about the little details included in this list. This deck is copy and pasted that someone else submitted. The core of this deck is good because it sets up Staggering Insight, Curious Obsession, and Curiosity as ways to sustain card advantage, to run down people while generating cards. And it plays effects like Kor Spiritdancer, along with Adanto Vanguard and Ornithopter that it protects with things like Life's Bounty, Selfless Savior, and Blessing. So that way your cards can live to let you keep drawing cards. We also have all that glitters to punch people for lots of damage very quickly. And then we have Lurrus kind of tying the room together because there aren't really cards that break Lurrus' restriction that we want to play anyways. So this can give us some longevity in the longer game. So I think this deck is very reasonable. I think it has good linear draws on the back of all that glitters and Kor Spiritdancer that kills people very quickly, while also having lots of play against interactive decks because of its 8 protection creatures in the main deck as well as Blessing. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this and see how it goes. I think this blue-white enchantments deck is probably in contention for being one of the better decks than Historic. It ticks most of the boxes you want to tick for a good Magic deck. Has some interaction, has counterplay against people trying to interact with you, and has very linear draws. Yeah, and this hand's actually, so the Ornithopters kind of look cute in this deck, but this hand's actually a great example of why Ornithopter's sick. He says before getting Thought Seized. So we were going to be able to go Ornithopter, Life's Bounty, and then Curious Obsession Protected on one. It's okay. I didn't want to play with the cards I drew anyways. Innocent Blood. Innocent Blood is definitely one of the best pieces of interaction against your archetype for sure. Being able to play around our various protection mechanics is a big deal. Narset, also good against us, gets to lock us out of the game. We have a lot of cards that are interested in drawing more cards, and Narset says your cards don't get to have fun. Why would your cards get to do what they're supposed to do? Peace, Spirited Beer Time. We're into this deck a lot, and it's giving me trouble because of the protections. I don't think, like, again, this deck is a prime example of you're praying your interaction lines up correctly into their threats. So, like, a lot of the interaction that you're going to be playing just isn't going to line up well into what this deck is doing with a lot of their draws, and you're frequently just going to get run down. There's not really counterplay. Occasionally, your stuff's going to line up really well, like our opponent did that game, and you're going to get to run us over. A lot of the games with and against this archetype aren't going to be particularly close. Someone is getting blown out in almost every game this archetype plays. The games tend to be very polarizing and swingy. We just lead on Savior. Not not only is your opponent getting a 2/2 burst, one, if you're a newer Magic player, get it out of your head that Swan Song is a playable card. It pretty much isn't. Two, this archetype not only cares about a 2/2 blocker, but like we want to counter planeswalkers too. Spell Pierce is just a better card than Swan Song in most situations. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, Painland or Seachrome Coast would both be excellent additions. So with Selfless Savior to protect Lurrus here, we're in an okay spot. They can, like Extinction Event for odds here, but I keep Ornithopter and Kor Spiritdancer through that. Languish is their best possible sweeper here. And again, like, this is going through the permutations there, I think really highlights the does my thing line up into what you have mindset, right? Like, there's a list of things that I can beat, but there's also an incredible list of things that I just, like, have no chance of beating. I didn't play around that because I assumed they didn't have it because they didn't do it on their turn and they didn't do it in response to this. Yeah, I agree. I think I'm happy with my play. It feels bad, but it is what it is. Alright, so we're gonna Extinction Event Evens here now, leaving with just a Selfless Savior. So I want one of our card draw enchantments here. More did happen. Good call, Boneless. Trundle. Thanks for that. Thanks for the correction. I had a question, by the way, in case there's people in chat that pay attention to these things, because maybe I missed it. But there's a Mythic Invitational coming up, right? Which means they give out invites. I skimmed the list and used their search feature, but was Croaky's not invited to the Mythic Invitational? Is anybody paying attention to care about that? Is he playing in that? I skimmed the list and I didn't see his name. It seems like a big miss on Wizards' part to not put their biggest streamer in their big events. No one is paying attention or cares. It had their usernames in it too, Brandon. It had like handles or whatever you want to call it. He said he doesn't play tournaments because it's slow content. Yeah, but like, it's something like an invitational is different. So like, I understand he doesn't play like random things like the Hoaglandia tournaments or like miscellaneous other things that don't pay much. But something like that is functionally a bit different. Yeah, I'll take whatever, Ernie, and just ship it at this point. You're fine to skip the form, just put a deck code in your donation. Until the format settles a little bit, I'll be taking most things, probably the next week or so at least. And again, this is, you know, kind of peak Magic in a way. I talked about feeling like our deck was incredibly good and how it's okay positioned against a lot of things, but here we're queuing into a second Innocent Blood deck in a row that kind of has our number. Yeah, we're playing Boggles and queuing into the Veil decks, basically. Wait, what? We're not innocent blooding me? That seems like a huge mistake. They're trying to get more value out of this? Yeah, that's a punt on the opponent's part. They should 1000% be trading their Dreadhorde Arcanist for my Adanto Vanguard. To get the Invoke deck cut into today, $40, Dude Light. Obviously, much less than that to play tomorrow. I'm planning to do 3 decks again tomorrow. Watsy is selling emotes. Is that real? Are they adorable pictures? Or are they just lame words? I'd buy some adorable pictures and maybe consider turning emotes on. I miss having my sweet pictures in this game. New emotes for the first time. Sweet. I'm glad they're 10 text emotes, 5 sticker emotes. Good. I'm glad that is a feature that is coming. Erdian, thanks for the tip. I'll get that added to the queue. Dude Light with the big tip as well. 50 because that's a nicer number than 40. I like your content. Sounds good. And just to clarify, Dude Light, which one is that for? It's for the the Invoke the Infinite build in my queue. Sounds good. Opponent's playing red-black, so I bought Baffling End. Grafdigger's Cage is probably good here, too. Stops them from flashing back their stuff. I think I trimmed some Curious Obsessions. Maybe Blessing goes, because they have a lot of Edict effects. Do I want Spell Pierce? Spell Pierce can counter some of their cheap stuff. Maybe that's good. Maybe I just go up Adanto Vanguard to increase my threat density. Yeah, increasing threat density is probably better than having things like Spell Pierce. Let's try this. Catch you later, Dan, and stay safe out there. So this is the part where I cast Adanto Vanguard, and then they play Claim the Firstborn, play another creature, and kill both my things. Okay, just innocent blood. Could be worse. No, just no submissions, Wolfie. Haven't had a ton of variety segment submissions in general, which doesn't surprise me. Magic just had a new set, and Runeterra just had a new set, so hype's high for both of those things. Bumping the Teemo Diana. That sounds great. They didn't have Claim last turn, so I didn't play around it this turn. Yeah, definitely, Wolfie. Maybe I should have played Life's Bounty instead of Kor. Yeah, Claim the Firstborn is just so brutal against creature decks. Keep in mind, I am not planning to do more than 2 variety segments per week. So I've got three submissions lined up for that already, so if you do submit something, it won't be for a couple of weeks yet. Variety segments are 50. I think we're dead, right? Your Runeterra deck posted somewhere. Yeah, if you go, there's my Mobalytics link. You can also find decks in the deck queue on the website too. Everything's up there for all formats, not just Magic. The deck queue, I probably just call it the stream queue. It has decks for both games and variety stuff in there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually playing Morrowind 2. I was looking through some of the, there are a lot of mods that, I remember playing, years ago that, have still been worked on and gotten updates, which is sweet. Mobilytics link doesn't work. Does this link work? Okay, for some reason the other one didn't update. Does that work now? Yeah, that works now. Alright, Hey, AJZ, thanks for continuing your sub-gift. I appreciate the support. Welcome back. Okay, so they're going to get to flashback village rights to sack this. I think I'm just playing Life's Bounty here and taking it slow. Yeah, I think I want to play around. And like this is tough because like if they have the both players sacrifice a creature card, I get into trouble here. But I did play around Claim, which is great. DDR. I played a ton of DDR growing up. I'm sure I'm fat and uncoordinated at this point. Definitely fat and uncoordinated at this point. Big Zawine, thanks for 35 months. Welcome back. Put me around. Can't beat another claim. Scruff McGruffin, thanks for the 10 months. Welcome back. DDR is Dance Dance Revolution. That could be a good form of exercise in the current state of the world. Do they make DDR for current generation things like the Switch? Is that a thing? I know. I guess it technically there's versions that work on the computer, right? In the after times. I actually have a Ring Fit adventure. I don't know that we're guaranteed to lose from here, but it's pretty likely. You get DDR for PS4. No, I don't have that. Only console in my house is the only console in my house is a what's it called? A Switch. Lukewarm Ice, thanks for the 3 months. So that was a good draw. Think I take this and hit them? Okay, if they're just gonna try and race us... Oh, they get to Heartless Act. If Lurrus here at least... And this doesn't even do anything, right? Because they just have Innocent Blood sitting in the bin. If I draw a Kor Spiritdancer, we might have a shot. How has this deck felt in the new normal? I mean, this is our second match with it, and the other one also felt awful. We played against Grixis Control and also just got dumpstered. I don't think this archetype has, again, I don't think this archetype has very, like, almost all the games you play with this deck are getting slaughtered in one direction or the other. You're either slaughtering someone or doing the slaughtering. It has definitely felt like longer than 2 matches. It's been rough. How is Black White Doom? Really terrible. Okay, I'm gonna take it slow and hold up Karametra's Blessing here. It was good until we started playing it. So we beat Ritual of Soot and Languish. We beat that. Yeah, there's a bunch of Uro decks that are really good. I think blue-white controls, Splash, Growth Spiral, and Uro would probably be my pick for likely the best deck in the current format. Maybe this is wrong to put my second draw spell on the Ornithopter here. It could be right to just play the Adanto Vanguard. However, if I play the Adanto Vanguard and then they Extinction Event me, I'm also up a creek without a paddle. Oh, I could have Arcane Flight to play around Languish. That's a good thought. Nah, I think Birthing Pod would be gas in this format. I also think Birthing Pod would be fine in Modern, though. So... I don't think it was ever really too good there. I think Lulu's my favorite champion in the Runeterra set at the moment. Yeah, big agree, Wolfie. The type of gameplay that Birthing Pod generates is incredibly sweet. I think if you asked me to pick an early runner for the most powerful, new champion, I think Leona is the most powerful. Snickers, thanks for the tip. Good games to you. Good luck with the rest of your ladder matches. Oh, you know what? I probably should have made this one flying, huh? So I could fly over this turn. Yeah, I agree, Mega. And honestly, I don't even think Wizards needs to necessarily strictly unban things. Yeah, the Adanto is a free damage downgrade. Thanks for pointing that out. Like, they should just, like, put up extra cues of, like, this is a cue that's historic without this card. This is a cue that's historic with this card added. I really feel like they don't do enough to capture data with the stuff that they have. And, like, they could view not only format health, but also popularity, right? Like, is this a good decision to make? Are people excited to play Magic without Uro? Are people excited to play Historic with this card added back into it? Those types of calculations. I don't know. I don't need to answer that question though, Zach. Like, let people decide that for themselves. I also think the queue time argument is kind of a cop-out, because I think if Arena at this point can't support multiple queues, like, Magic the Gathering Arena still has a fraction of the number of queues that Magic the Gathering Online has, and almost all of Magic Online queues are paid queues. So if Arena can't support more free queues at this point, it's an incredible failure of a product. If Arena at this point, with everything they've dumped into it and moved over to it, can't support as many queues as Magic Online does, I don't know what we're doing with our time here. You get priority back after they declare blockers, Pinky, but if they don't block, your attack just happens. So you'll get priority back if they block, but if they just say, okay, take damage, you do not get priority. What are cards that I would put into this format via historic anthologies? Vendilion Click, Garruk Relentless, 4 mana Kaya, Fast lands would definitely be in. Eternal Witness, Huntmaster of the Fells. I explicitly would not include cards like Spell Queller. I would if you gave me permission to choose what was going to be in a historic anthology, I would be explicitly picking cards that weren't coming via Pioneer. So everything on my historic anthology list would be things that we're not guaranteed to get. So Spell Queller, Tireless Tracker, those types of things we're guaranteed to get. Things like Eternal Witness, Vendilion Click, Sweet Innistrad cards, those are things that are not guaranteed to be coming. Historic handle Faithless Looting? No. I think that Spirits is already quite reasonable, and I agree it will get better when Spell Queller is legal. No, 13 mana Emrakul is legal in Pioneer. When is Pioneer coming? Eventually. So, we're getting a Pioneer Masters set before the end of the year that will include a number of Pioneer staples in it. However, we don't have an exact timeline on the entirety of Pioneer. I wouldn't expect Pioneer to be fully added to the platform until like early 2022. I expect a lot of it to be there with Pioneer Masters, but I expect the bulk of it is going to take a little bit. I think I'm supposed to hit them and hope to draw an enchantment here and then snowball card advantage with these two. Don't test me, well-born muse. I have a small child and I did not sleep a lot last night. Think they'll make a Pioneer Light format once we get a lot of the playable cards? I hope so, Mazer Mouse. It'd be fun to do an everything not in standard format on Arena. I think that would be true while standard's all busted cards, Coder Chris, but I think once rotation happens in the fall, that mostly is irrelevant. I agree with them finally banning Inverter and Ballista. Pioneer sounds somewhat okay. Although, I don't know. Maybe I take that back. Reassess. Looking at recent Pioneer results, Pioneer is Naya Winota, Temur Reclamation, and Jeskai Luka are some of the top decks in it. So, I don't know how I feel about that necessarily. Yeah, Pioneer also has Teferi legal. Oh yeah, I don't ever plan to play a Magic format where Teferi Time Raveler is legal ever again. Yeah, Pioneer is a lot like Standard from the last 4 to 5 months with better mana. Yeah, Agent is Treachery is legal. Whew. Okay. I think I just do this and try and draw lands. Any videos where you learn/teach the game? So I don't, Mazer Mouse, because the in-game tutorial is actually just that good. So my number one recommendation for people looking to get into Runeterra is just install it on your phone or your PC and then play through the tutorial a little bit. It's very, very well put together. It has a bunch of optional extra levels that basically teach you everything you need to know about the game. Yeah, the challenges are good and they give you free-to-play rewards. Hey, we gambled and went in on this, hoping they didn't have another removal spell. Looks like we might get paid off, unless they go Swamp Innocent Blood here. Runeterra has been super free-to-play friendly so far. It has both the best free-to-play economy and pay-to-play economy of any card game that exists. It probably affects it a lot, Brute Z. I think the financial implication of making changes to their formats is something that holds Wizards of the Coast back a significant amount. Oh no! Don't Innocent Blood me! Don't do it! Rare wild cards are like technically a little less than $6 because you open them in booster packs as well. Just the convoluted nature of Arena's economy is tough. It's just like, when someone asks me like, how many dollars does it cost me to build a deck? I just can't give them an answer. It's just impossible. You can give them like a range. Yeah, it's also only $6 if you're buying $100 worth of gems at a time. It's more expensive than that if you're not dumping in $100 in a chunk. It depends on the deck, Dream. It also depends on, like, not only do the rare and mythic wild card counts different in your deck to determine the cost, but how many of those rares and mythics are in the same set really matters. Because, for example, if your deck is mostly rares, but all those rares are from different sets, you're not going to incidentally open cards you need as often when you buy packs to get wild cards. Like, when you're building a standard deck, you, like, are gonna open a bunch of cards that you need to build your deck while collecting wild cards. How do they keep shocking in lands? What am I missing? They have a disfigure? It has to be disfigure, right? So I want a Staggering Insight here to play around that. Nailed it, chat. Player agency in my Magic the Gathering. So I bottomed Karametra's Blessing here because if they kill this turn, I want more threats or protection from that for this. Now the question is, can we get these last 4 points in across the finish line before they escape their Uro back again? I think the answer to that is probably no. Game is rapidly descending into garbage time. We're done, right? I guess Blessing changes it. So Blessing means if I draw a creature, I can put Staggering Insight on it and then protect it from Ashiok's downtick. This is the part where this exiles 2 spells after I've drawn lands for the last 3 cards. Whoa! It cleared the flood, chat. God bless you, little nightmare. I knew you were playing for the home team.
The shadows awaken.
Yeah, the alt doesn't do anything, though. Literally doesn't have text at the moment. I guess the alt puts a 6th card in their bid so they can escape Uro. The Great Wumbo, thanks for the 17 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back.
My kids are delightfully friendly.
We played a Jeskai version that was playing Dorat, Dimir Spy. I'm gonna play some Runeterra. That set was super exhausting. All 3 of the decks that we played against, just like long, drawn out, kill all our stuff, none of our things work. That's statistically what happens, but when I talk about a deck being good and thinking it's competitive, we almost always end up getting dumpstered, so I'm gonna shift gears to been enjoying Runeterra's gameplay a little bit more, so let's do that. Yeah, I've really... Historic has been markedly worse for me personally. The average quality of games in Historic has been markedly worse since Field of the Dead was banned, in my opinion. In my subjective opinion, the decks and the gameplay in this format have been less enjoyable since they banned Field of the Dead. These are playable cards. We'll grab those. I guess. I would. All right. Yeah, let's shift gears, huh? Let's play something fun.